Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Tiffany Stratton's latest ring gear caught the attention of multiple WWE superstars, including Maxine Dupree. On social media, Dupree sent an interesting message to the 25-year-old superstar. Earlier this year, Stratton won the Money in the Bank briefcase. She has teased cashing in on her current ally and the reigning WWE Women's Champion, Nia Jax. The 25-year-old has also teased the idea of cashing in on the reigning Women's World Champion, Liv Morgan. Tiffany Stratton also recently featured in the Women's War Games match. Unfortunately, she was on the losing side against the team of Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Bayley, and Naomi. Stratton featured in a singles match last week on WWE SmackDown. She faced Mia Yim in the semifinal of the Women's United States Championship Tournament. Unfortunately for Stratton, she failed to book her place in the final at Saturday night's main event. On Instagram, Stratton's photos caught Dupree's attention, who claimed to be in love. Vince Russo criticized WWE's booking of Tiffany Stratton. Vince Russo wasn't pleased with WWE's booking of Tiffany Stratton, stating that the company shouldn't have had Myken beat her on WWE SmackDown. With Myken's win over Stratton, she qualified for the final of the Women's United States Championship Tournament. However, she was unsuccessful in defeating Chelsea Green, who became the inaugural champion at Saturday night's main event. On the Brodown podcast on Backstage Pass, Russo expressed his frustrations with Stratton's loss. He also praised the current Money in the Bank briefcase holder. Russo said, "I always look at it this way. I mean, Mac, I think it's obvious. Who's the money? Who's the money? When you look at Myken and you look at Tiffany, who's the money? Tiffany and clearly the money. Why in God's name are you beating her in a match?" Despite the recent loss, Stratton has been seemingly getting pushed recently and remains a fan favorite. It remains to be seen what the company has in store for her going forward. The backstage area at WWE Monday Night Raw was buzzing with energy as the superstars prepared for another exciting night of action. The anticipation for the show was high, and the atmosphere was electric. Amid the usual chaos of pre-match nerves, one particular moment stood out. A WWE superstar, known for his intense focus in the ring, was standing off to the side, gazing at the scene unfolding before him. This superstar was none other than the enigmatic and often mysterious Cameron Grimes. Grimes had always been known for his resilience and grit, but recently, fans had noticed a subtle shift in his demeanor. He had been more relaxed, more approachable, and noticeably smiling, something that was out of character for the usually brooding and intense competitor. But there was one reason for this change: Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany, the rising star of WWE NXT, had captured the hearts of fans with her natural charisma, athleticism, and undeniable beauty. Though she had made waves in the developmental brand, her presence on Monday Night Raw had fans wondering when she would finally make her mark on the main roster. It was clear that she had all the potential to be a future WWE superstar, but she had something else that had caught Cameron Grimes' attention: her captivating personality. From the moment he first crossed paths with her backstage, Grimes had felt something shift within him. At first, he thought it was a passing attraction, but the more they spoke, the more he realized that he had fallen for Tiffany in a way he had never experienced before. The quiet moments spent talking with her, the laughter they shared, the mutual respect they had for one another, it all led to one undeniable truth: Cameron Grimes was in love. It was a secret he had kept to himself for weeks, not wanting to disrupt the delicate balance of his WWE career. But as Tiffany's role within the company grew and her star continued to rise, Grimes found it harder to ignore the feelings that had been quietly growing inside him. The tension came to a head one fateful night as Grimes was preparing for his match. He stood in front of the mirror, adjusting his gear and preparing mentally for the challenge ahead. But his mind kept wandering back to Tiffany. He had heard her voice earlier that evening, and it had sent a wave of warmth through him, a feeling that no match or rivalry could compare to. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. "Grimes!" Tiffany's voice echoed from the hallway, a sound that seemed to carry a certain lightness with it. "You decent?" Grimes paused for a moment, unsure of how to respond. He wasn't used to sharing his emotions, let alone revealing something so personal. But this time, he couldn't hold it back any longer. He opened the door, his eyes meeting hers. "Tiff," he said, his voice softer than usual. "There's something I need to say to you. Something that's been weighing on me for a while now." Tiffany tilted her head curiously, sensing the seriousness in his tone. "What's up, Grimes? You look like you're about to drop a bomb." Grimes chuckled nervously, running a hand through his hair. "Maybe I am, but I've been keeping this inside for way too long, and I think it's time I say it out loud." Tiffany raised an eyebrow, her curiosity piqued. "What is it?" "You know you can tell me anything." Grimes took a deep breath, his eyes never leaving hers. "I'm in love with you, Tiff. I've been feeling this way for weeks, and it's not just some passing crush. I know what it feels like to be in love. And this is real." Tiffany stood still for a moment, processing what he had just said. She blinked, and for a split second, it felt like time had frozen. The hum of the arena, the sound of the crowd roaring in the distance, the bustle of superstars preparing for their matches, it all faded into the background as she focused entirely on Grimes. Finally, a soft smile appeared on her face. "You've been hiding this from me?" she asked, her tone a mix of amusement and affection. Grimes nodded, looking down at the floor. "I didn't know how to say it, and I didn't want to mess things up between us. I didn't want to be another guy who just, makes things weird. But I couldn't keep it in anymore. Every time I see you, it feels like something special." Tiffany's smile widened, and she stepped closer to him. "Grimes, I had no idea. Honestly, I thought you were just being, well, Grimes. But this is a surprise." Grimes met her gaze again, his heart pounding in his chest. "So you're not weirded out? You're not going to avoid me now?" Tiffany laughed softly, shaking her head. "Are you kidding? Grimes, I've got nothing but respect for you. You're one of the most genuine people I know. You're not like the others who play games or try to be something they're not. You've got a good heart, and that's something I admire. Plus, if I'm being honest, I've felt something too." Grimes blinked in disbelief. "You what?" Tiffany stepped back, a twinkle in her eye. "I may have noticed how you've been looking at me recently, and I won't lie. I've thought about what it would be like if we gave this a chance. I mean, who wouldn't want to be with someone as real as you, Grimes?" Grimes let out a laugh of relief. "So you're saying there's a chance?" Tiffany winked playfully. "There's always a chance, Grimes. But you've got to be patient with me, okay? This isn't something I rush into, but I'm definitely open to seeing where this goes." Cameron Grimes' face lit up with a grin that could rival any victory he had ever celebrated in the ring. For the first time in a long time, he felt a sense of peace, knowing that the woman he had fallen for felt the same way. As the two stood there, surrounded by the noise of the arena and the chaos of the backstage environment, something incredible had just begun. It wasn't a rivalry-driven storyline, or an angle crafted by WWE's writers. It was real, the beginning of something special between two people who had never expected to find love in the world of WWE. And as they walked off together, ready to face whatever came next, Cameron Grimes couldn't help but think that this might be the best storyline he'd ever been a part of. But this time, the love story was his own.